something I'd like to talk to you about is the beginning of the sun salute. It's really a valuable moment in this practice that has smaller positions, more refined positions, and really sets up the whole of this important foundational practice that we're learning and we're doing. And there's one aspect to it, which is the half Uttanasana, that for me, I've always wondered what's going on here. It's this bit. So you fold down over your legs on the exhale, and then you come halfway up on the inhale, and then fold back down on the exhale, and then continue. And because it's not like a pose, it's not downward dog or plank, or it's not one of these more, say, it's a half pose, it's half Uttanasana. I've always wondered, is it just put in there as a way of kind of, okay, well, we need to inhale and do something and then continue. But I've been really looking at it and unpicking it. And what I notice from classes and from people's bodies is that there's a habit that I see happening. And you might notice this in yourself. And it looks like this. So half Uttanasana can look like this. Okay, what it wants to look like is this. Okay, if we do those two moves in an upright position, okay, so the first thing I did was this. Okay, the second thing I did was this. Okay, so you can see the postural habits, and this is really exaggerated. But if we have a habit of hunching, we always want to find the horizon, so our eyes are always looking for neutral, for the horizon. So if our back is going down, where the head is directed is down to the ground, so looking down. And then obviously we're going to look for the horizon, so we can end up having this very hunched posture. You don't want to have to spend your whole time correcting your posture, really correcting. So if in your sun salute, if in something you're doing daily or regularly, you're feeling this shape of shoulders down the back, of heart opening, and of head being brought up to neutral quite naturally without any force, so the head is just following the line of the spine, then if that's happening regularly on your mat, you'll find yourself by default assuming a good posture without having to think about it. So we'll look at that, and also I want you to notice when I fold down, I keep my knees bent. So I don't straighten my knees personally because it's not. I find it too tight for my hamstrings. It puts a lot of pressure on my lower back. But also we have knees, they're meant to bend, and the position of bent knees allows a release in the lower back and the spine. When you straighten your legs, what happens is, if you stand here now, so you bend your knees and stick your bum out, you can feel that the femur bone, the leg bone, is going into the back of the hip and into the hip socket. If I straighten my legs as I'm folding forward and really push them back, the femur pushes into the joint very hard, and what can happen over time if you really straighten your legs in deep forward folds is compaction and an injury, such deep injury to the actual tissues and the joint position itself that it can lead to needing hip replacements. It's really serious. So a lot of, say dancers and people that have practiced very, very deep forward folds over a long time get to a point where they need to replace their hips because they're so damaged. So I don't straighten my knees because I don't want to have a hip replacement in 20 years' time. So I recommend keeping the knees bent, and it just feels much easier. You can lower your body down. You can play with that now. Just come down, bend the knees, and then straighten your knees and feel what happens in your hips and your back. Bend your knees and feel that. So work with your body. Work with the position, the joints we've been given, and what actually feels natural. You might know, there's always this sense of like, yeah, but if I'm going to be good at yoga, I have to at some point have straight legs. Why? Who said so? What if you can do a really enjoyable, full, open, relaxing sun salute with bent knees the whole time until you're 95 and you don't have to replace your hips? That to me is more positive. So, the beginning of the sun salute. So keeping the knees a bit bent, and half Uttanasana. So let's play with that. We'll just do a few rounds. So technically this is called a half sun salute. So Utta Surya Namaskar. So inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold down over the legs. Keeping knees bent. Inhale, half Uttanasana. So draw your chest forward, send the thighs back. The legs can straighten here because you're taking that flex out of the hips. And then exhale, bend the knees and fold down. So let's pulse that a few times. So keep the head looking between the legs. Then as you come up, lift your belly first. Now draw the shoulder blades down the back and draw your chest forward. And your head will naturally come up in line with the spine. And then again, if that doesn't feel like it's making sense, what I want you to do is lift your elbows, pull your elbows back and see if you can feel your shoulder blades coming onto your back. So your chest is opening, chest coming forward and then coming down. So draw your chest forward. So fingers on the shins, really lengthen the chest forward and let the head shoot forward rather than up and go down. So in half Uttanasana, you should still be looking at the ground, but your head is coming forward and your back muscles are getting longer. And exhale, release, and do that once more. So inhale, reach forward. And exhale, bend the knees. And then come up to standing. Push the ground, reach the arms. Inhale. And bring your hands to your heart. Exhale. Again. Inhale, raise the arms. Fold down over the legs with bent knees. Exhale. Draw your chest forward. Send your thighs back. Inhale. And head extends, and then exhale, fold down over bent knees, push the ground, really pump the ground to give you lift. Inhale, come up, and exhale, come down. So one last piece in this. So it's kind of, it suits the half sun salute, but it's at the end of the sun salute when you're coming back up to standing. Way to get up to standing, to know if you're doing it correctly for your back, so you're not going to put pressure on your spine, is just to use the legs effectively and the bend in the knees. So as you just stand here, see if you can see what happens when you jump. So slow down a jump and see what your body does to jump. Okay? So you probably notice your knees bent, you started to lift your heels, you pushed into the toes and the balls of the feet, and up you come. Jump without bending the knees. Jump without bending the knees. Okay, nothing's happening. So you need, the first impulse to going up is to go down. And that comes from bending the knees and pushing off the ground to give you momentum to come up. So the same thing when you're down here. So when we're folded forward, we want to come up. We want to lift up to standing. So if you keep your legs straight and you don't bend the knees and you try and come up to standing, I don't even like to demonstrate it, because what you're doing is you're lifting with your back muscles and you're putting so much pressure on the spine that it could actually injure you during that or just give you really bad habits, okay? So instead, to come up, try not to kind of complicate it with flat back or any details apart from push the ground. So just push the ground like you're jumping. So it's almost like you're jumping but with your head down by your feet. So push the ground and almost like you're jumping, and lift the arms. And do that a few times. And what you should feel is that you just shoot up quite naturally. So you're hanging down, push the ground and come up. And flop down and push the ground and come up. And do one more. Push the ground and come up. Okay, hands to the heart. Let's put it all together. 1 or 2 sun salutes here. So just the beginning and the end. We're in focus today. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold down with bent knees. Half Uttanasana. Think about your spine, shoulders down the back. Neck long, head extended. Step back, downward facing dog. Push the ground. Inhale, plank pose, chest forward. Exhale, knees down, roll down or push down. Keep it gentle. Inhale through your cobra, lift the belly. Exhale, downward facing dog, pushing back. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, bend the knees and step forward. Inhale, half Uttanasana, so get long in your spine, bum back. Bend the knees, fold down, and then push to standing. Bend the knees, push, come up. And bring your hands to your heart. Let's go again. Inhale, raise the arms, reach up, look up, lift up. Exhale, folding down over the legs. Chest forward, inhale, half Uttanasana. Lovely long spine, step back, downward facing dog. Plank pose, lift the belly, look forward, lower the knees, all the way to the ground. Exhale, chest forward, open up, lift the belly, downward facing dog. Push back, reach the hips back and up, deep breath in. End of the exhale, bend the knees and step up to your hands. Inhale, half Uttanasana, so really long spine, shoulders down the back. Exhale, bend the knees, fold over, use the bend, push the ground, pump the legs up to standing and back to your heart. Exhale. Take a couple of breaths. Namaste.